This shit right. This shit right. There we go. There we go. There we go. On me. Bring this shit right. Bring this into the focus. That's what's up. Drop this third wheel down so y'all can see a nigga. What's happening? Please comments. What's going on? I've been supposed to do this live all damn day. Shit, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat, y'all. Anyway, man, I've been supposed to do this live all damn day, talking about getting out of your own way, because I done had some people come through, and you realize something, man, with some people, man, some folks, they just gonna stay done for forever. What's going on? Okay, I see Tracy up in here. So some people, man, they just gonna stay dumb forever, man. It ain't nothing that you can do to save people. It ain't no way that you can help them. You know, you try to put people up on game, but you see, man, that some folks are just so slow that unless it's spelled all the way out for them, they just never gonna they never gonna get it, right? So you see, certain things happen. And by certain things, I mean people have gone to jail, and some people are just so they got confirmation bias. So no matter what evidence exists that's to the contrary of what your opinion is, you get a lot of folks who just refuse to believe in they refuse to believe the truth. Now some of y'all might have grandparents who you know that your cousin ain't shit, but if y'all grew up in a family like I grew up in, your grandmama, your aunts and stuff, they make excuses for people, right? I got an uncle who was side baby, and my family, this nigga's a goon, all right? How about the car, broad daylight, rob your ass type of goon ass. Now, this dude went and got locked up, and when he went and got locked up, you know, I had an aunt, she's now deceased, God bless her soul. She was sending out emails like, oh, this is so unlike him. We gotta do something. We gotta save him. We gotta go and get him. Me, I'm with this nigga all the time. This shit ain't unlike him. This is him. Okay? When I saw the nigga in the newspaper, I'm like, yep, yep. I fully expected this shit. But some people just, they refuse to believe the truth despite what's in front of them. Right? Now, some folks, man, no matter what evidence they saw about Kels, they just gonna believe what they gonna believe, man. And listen, dude, I'm not the type to use somebody's name for publicity, for views, for none of that, man. I'm just here to speak truth to power, man. That's it. That's all I'm worried about is just speaking truth and knowledge to power, man. But some folks, man, they won't know the truth, man. If the truth hit them, slap them in the goddamn face, man. It's like if anybody had a family member that was addicted to hard drugs, the family would be like, oh, she just a little sick. You know, she just a little sick. No, Auntie Cheryl's a motherfucking crackhead. She's a crackhead. And by you sitting up in there saying, oh, she just a little sick, or, oh, you know, because, like, nobody wants to admit to like the funniest thing ever is people will admit to marijuana. They will admit to drinking too much. Okay, but nobody ever wants to admit to cocaine and crack and heroin. Folks don't admit to that stuff. Okay, not publicly, no way. You might find one or two people who will admit to it, you know, in their own little circle. But by and large, people don't admit to the hard drug use. Okay, and by you sit up in there and say, well, you know, hey, Auntie Cheryl, she got a problem with drinking. You are enabling her to continue being a dope fiend. All right? We have to draw a line in the sand where we say it's not cool to be a crackhead. Okay? It's not cool to be a crackhead. People, and this shit really grinds my gears. People will gloss over everything in the world. And what do I mean? This is what I mean, man. Okay, this man married a young bitch, never denied it, made a whole porno film with a girl where, to me, the girl didn't look underage, but she looked too damn young, okay? She didn't look underage, but she looked too damn young. Pissing on the bitch, okay? This chick over here bouncing up and down. My dude jacking off to this little bitty. She's a baby, dude. She's a young lady, okay? A young lady. And people will fight you tooth and nail for telling the truth, okay? People gonna fight you tooth and nail for telling the truth. But the moment that you start lying, everybody loves you. Look at Dana J. Everybody love this motherfucker, man. This dude tell 4 lies for every 30 seconds he talk. Okay? But people just want to be entertained. They don't want the truth. Okay? They don't want the truth. People want to fight the truth. People want to fight nourishment, man. They want to, people don't want to hear the truth. Because by you telling the truth, you are affecting how they think about themselves. Okay? So, I'm naturally an asshole. What's going on, Darlene? I'm naturally an asshole, right? And so, back in the day when I was coming up, we used to have this terminology where we used to call girls butterheads. That's when everything looked cute, butterhead, all right? And you would have simping ass niggas who will come around these butterheads and be like, oh, girl, you so fine. Niggas would be brown nosing just to get some ass. Now, you over here, you trying to pump up this bitch ego. It's nothing that's realer than when you have to sit in silence by yourself and think about who you really are. So, you sitting up here telling this butterhead that she's sexy and she cute and she fine just because she got a banging ass body. Okay, after a while, this bitch's shape is you're gonna stop caring about it. And one day you're gonna realize, like, damn, I'm fucking a troll doll with a nice shape. But you, the person that is set up in here in them brown nose with the ugly bitch, he don't want you to sit up in here and tell him, like, hey man, your bitch is like your bitch is like an abracadabra in the face, dude. Alright? Shit. Your bitch is like she transformed into a werewolf in mid-form. Alright? He don't want to hear that because when you hear the truth, you forced to take action. And see, this is the problem with the folks who are diehard supporters of people like R. Kelly, because you had people who was in the house with this man. These motherfuckers was calling me, and when they called me a motherfucker fake dying every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. I'm talking about to the standpoint of, dude, this person called me at my job, and she don't know. I know that, hey, you been sitting over here fucking with one of these little girls, and they backstab you, they cut your throat, they do all types of weirdo shit. They spread rumors, they lie about what their relationship was with the man, so that they can befriend you and get something out of you. Once they get what they want out of you, then they throw you away like you useless, like you're not even a human, like you mean less than nothing. Okay, they throw you away like you mean less than nothing. And when these folks they throw you away like you mean less than nothing, then it all reverts back to the man. But did he benefit from this? You have to say, yeah, he benefited from it. Okay, these care supporters. Okay, let's hypothetically say Rob didn't fuck Jerron, and it was Bubba who was fucking Jerron. Okay, did he benefit from it? Did he benefit from it? Okay, and then let's ask ourselves a question. Okay, if Bubba is fucking her, then why don't she got Rob's name tattooed on her? What's going on, kid? Why is Rob's name tattooed on her if this other dude is fucking her? Okay, y'all are glossing over these little points. Oh, well, Lanita Carter, she got a video where she said she loves sucking dicks. Okay, and if that's the case, why is she in the mix? Like, I mean, you don't notice the pattern of promiscuous women, okay? All right, promiscuous women. Now, Lisa Van Allen, come on, man. Like, let's keep it real, bro. I got some partners, man. My partners wouldn't even let a bitch like that around me. And we talking about, man, my partner's a dirty, filthy ass dog. But that bitch is too much of a dog to where my dog ass partners won't even let a bitch like that around me. Real talk. Now, my point is that you have a bunch of enablers around this man. Okay? You got a bunch of do boys and enablers around this man. And ain't nobody gonna sit up in here and tell the truth. Come on, man. All of these girls can't be wrong, man. They all can't be wrong. And you know, you speaking out both sides of your neck, okay? All right, motherfuckers doing dominatrix, but you also saying he's a gentle, kind soul, but he'll smack a bitch, he'll choke the hoe out. He's a gentle, kind soul, though. You know, gentle, kind or whatever, but he a freak, though. You know, I mean, come on, man. Like, come on. The two things don't mix, y'all. They don't. Okay? So, you get people who come on, they be like, ah, oh, fuck you, Trick. You ain't shit. You know, them women were grown. He shouldn't be in jail. Uh, first off, all right, if if I'm in a dope game, and I think a nigga is hot, and he gotta play. Let's just say he got some bricks for 18. All right. Let's say he's selling the brick for 18 grand, right? Well, let's say 15. Let's say he got some bricks. They only been stepped on one time. He's selling them for 15. All right. From this, you can cut this shit down, or what have you. From 15, you can compress your dope, man, and you can cut that shit down and make you about 20 bricks, right? Well, if I think that this dude is a narc, and I know I'm selling dope down here on 13th and Coke Brilliant, and my people selling dope up on 17 and Union. If I think this nigga a narc when I'm dealing with him, why would I send a nigga up to my people if I fuck with my people? But that's what these people do, man. That's what they do. Okay? First off, any woman, any parent that's bringing a child to a man saying, "Here, fuck my daughter," you don't see something wrong with that shit, man? That would be a reason why I would say, "Nick, I'm not fucking this bitch, man." Okay? Dude, I done had men ask me to fuck their wives, dude. Real shit. I done had men ask me to fuck their wives. Okay? Man, listen. God is my witness. I got a woman right now who we linked up on the birthday, went out, old friend, you know what I'm saying? We used to kick it back in the day. I used to knock her off, all of that, but she wanted to move on. I was on my young player shit. So she was like, yeah, I don't want to have sex with you no more. I'm like, all right, cool. This is back 2013, 2014, sometime around there. So I'm like, all right, it is what it is, right? So she goes on, gets married. Now that she's married, she wants to go out. Hey, I meet up with some strictly platonic shit, from my point of view, strictly platonic or whatever. Now, this woman has stalked my social media, Snapchat, my Instagram. Some women Google your name. She did all of that. She even went so far as she went on my LinkedIn. We got on LinkedIn, reconnected, and now I'm miserable in this marriage. I should have never done this. I want to have an open relationship. Blah 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 blah. It sounded tempting, but at the end of the day, listen, man, we was doing the do 10 years ago. You kicked me to the curb. I didn't get mad when you kicked me to the curb. I kept on pushing. Hey, it is what it is. Everything don't last forever. It's just the way that the game goes. But anyway, people be trying to prolong bullshit. If something ain't clicking with you, if it don't seem right coming in the door, chances are this shit not right. It's just not right. And as black folks, we come from that church background where we want to hear somebody who can orate the message and tell us what we want to hear. Oh, yeah. You have to challenge everything and the system trying to hold us back. I know y'all heard some niggas say they goofy ass shit before. The system, they don't want us to be great. All that goofy ass shit. No, nigga, you standing in your own way. You standing in your own way, man. Come on, man. You standing in your own way. All right? As a grown ass man, don't nobody gotta tell me, man, it's not right for me as a 40-year-old man to not fuck a little girl that's 17, even though it's legal in my state. Even though it's legal in my state, why the fuck am I gonna do some shit like that? Can somebody let me know? Can somebody tell me what would possess a grown ass nigga to go fuck some young pussy, man? Like, what? What? What do you get out of that shit, man? Okay, that you fucking the shit out of a girl who don't know how to fuck. She barely even know how to make that pussy work. And if she do, then that's sick on a whole other level. It's just sick. Okay? Then you take a young bitch like this, you can introduce them to threesomes and all of that. Come on, man. That ain't no player shit, man. That ain't no player shit. You know what I'm saying? Like this, and then we keep on hearing this. Well, you happen to live this same type of lifestyle, man. It's not a comparison. It's not a comparison. Hugh Hefner was this same nigga through and through, all the way through. Okay? Hugh Hefner's bitches shine. They were in magazines. Okay? They had articles written about them before he got into trouble. Man, before this Survivor R. Kelly shit, we didn't know who these bitches were. Come on, man. If you wasn't in the circle, man, you ain't know who these bitches were. I mean, am I lying about something? Then you get dumbass fans, super fans, who motherfuckers will forego their own pure common sense just to be down, man. Just to be down. People will forego common sense and logic just to be down. What do I mean by that? I mean, okay. People really sit up in here and believe that Daryl McDavid was a criminal mastermind who did everything. Daryl McDavid and Barry Hankinson set all this shit up. And who, you know what I'm saying? You gotta think about this, man. Fruit of a poisonous tree. Alright, so who is the one who turned everybody on to Barry Hankinson? Kemp and Sharon Winbush. Kemp and Sharon Winbush. But listen, don't just think about what I'm telling you. Go back to the beginning and then think. This is something that I want y'all to think about, right? If you go to Phases, the Next Level Champ, she had to pull down all of her interviews. But if those of y'all who were there from the beginning, go back and think about this. Phases had all of these interviews with all of these people, and all of these people who came on the channel, nobody told you why. None of these people none of these people gave you an explanation as to why they quit working for him. Okay, Kip came out and said, "Oh man, people was robbing him. He ain't know, so I had to quit working for him." Huh? Huh? I was security. I was security. Okay. Then the next thing, this is another tall tale sign right here. Get out of your own way, right? Get out of your own way. Everybody who called themselves a brother or a sister was toxic and detrimental in their own way. And they did something to contribute to the status quo that they never talk about. Okay? Julius Randle. Oh, that was my brother. That's my brother. Lily. That's my brother. Alexis. That's my brother. Come on, man. That's my brother. Lisa Cassandra. That's my brother. Who else I'm missing? Kip. That's my brother. Well, none of these motherfuckers went and got their brother the fuck out. None of them went and got their brother the fuck out. They say Bruce a crackhead, but at least Bruce, if you go back and watch the original Survivor R. Kelly, Bruce ain't even really talking shit about his brother. Go back and watch the original Survivor R. Kelly. Bruce is giving neutral answers, man. But you got all of these people. Oh, Rob, that's my brother. That's my brother, Rob. Rob, that's my brother. That's my brother. Black people, beware of people that call themselves your brother and your sister. They are no different than the white missionaries that came into Africa under the auspices of Christ and took over all of the land in Africa, goddammit. If I'm lying, I'm flying. My feet ain't left the motherfucking ground, man. Beware of these devils that come in calling themselves brother and sister. Real talk. Beware of this shit, man. Okay? And again, you can get caught in the hysteria of all that goes on and forget something common, man. You can forget common basic sense. Okay? I don't give a fuck how much the government talks to you. Okay, how do you get 60 different people from different corners of the world? Remember, Lizette Martinez is from Florida. Okay, Lanita Carter is from she from Wisconsin. I want to say Roanoke, Wisconsin, or no, Racine, Wisconsin. She lives in Chicago, but she been in Racine, Wisconsin. Okay, you got folks who are from over in California. I mean, you got the girl, goddamn, what's her name? The girl Sarah, the white girl who dated him, and she straight up said, "I'm not gonna come on no channel and say nothing good about that nigga." I ain't gonna say nothing bad neither, but she said, "No, I ain't doing that shit." I mean, hello, they kind of tell you everything that you need to know. I mean, come on. And to speak of brothers, Tank called Rob a brother. Tyrese called him a brother. But where are they at? Where they at? Come on, man. People not just backing up off of this person. They moonwalking up off the nigga, man. Moonwalking. off of this dude, man. I mean, come on, man. Tell me something. Tell me something. Get out of your own way. This is the topic of the show tonight. You know, we don't got a lot of folks in here, but it's cool. You know, I don't got the theatrics. I've been on the road all day. I drove up to Detroit or whatever to get a transmission for one of the cars at my dealership. Now I'm heading back to St. Louis. I'm driving to Chicago right now or whatever. But listen, none of this was a coincidence. All of it was by design. I am a journalist. I'm nobody's friend. I don't seek to be in none of these cliques. I don't seek to be part of the in crowd. I don't seek to be anything. Okay? And to really be honest, you know what I'm saying? I really feel like letting some stuff out tonight. You know what I mean? I really feel like telling some truths tonight. I really feel like telling some truths. Okay? But I digress. Everything that happened, it happened because it was supposed to happen that way. It was supposed to happen that way. It happened because it was supposed to happen that way. It was by design. It was preordained to say the least. It was predestined to happen. It was clandestine to happen. Okay? Now, can I drop a link to invite somebody in? Drop a link to what? To what, Darlene? Drop a link to what? Darlene, drop a link to what? Let me see if I can find the link. I believe that people. Let me see if I can invite a guest. Okay, copy the clipboard. Okay, let me go in here and drop the link. All right, I'm dropping the link now. All right, boom! I just dropped the link. There you go. There you go. I mean, and anybody can come on and they can talk or what have you. Anybody can come on, they can talk, they can say whatever they want to say, whatever they need to say. You know, I just dropped the link on my Facebook page. If you want to come on, if you want to say your piece. But listen, all of this shit is by design. And my purpose of making this broadcast here tonight was, hold on, somebody just came in backstage. Hey, we on with Darlene April. What's going on, Darlene?
Hey Trent, boy, you are so much speaking the truth. You
Uh-huh.
know, uh, the weird thing, I was gonna do a show tonight, or maybe tomorrow. I'm not feeling all that good. But I sat up and I said, Jennifer Bojeen has never said he was innocent.
Hold on,
Andy
can you speak? Can you speak
Wyatt
into the
was
mic?
on the real Dana.
We need you to speak. We need you to speak directly into the mic, darling.
Okay, hold on.
And y'all go get y'all popcorn. Go get your Bud Light. Go get your pretzels, your flaming hot Cheetos, whatever this is that you like to eat. Cause we finna turn this into a show. We're gonna turn this into a show. Go ahead, grab your festivities and grab your knickknacks and your patty wax. Oh shit! Oh damn, she backstage. Hold on, let me go get her back on. All right, darling, you back in?
Okay, is this better?
Yeah, this back. Yeah, this way better. Yup.
Okay.
Uh huh. So yeah, go
So,
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So after, you start doing your own research and thinking logically, you do know something that happened.
Mm-hmm.
We can't keep making excuses. Something
Mm-hmm.
happened. Now we wasn't there, but something happened.
Mm-hmm.
My issues that I have is people jumping on the bandwagon, talking about the government. First of all, the government don't care about black people. They never have and they never will. It wouldn't have took 30 years to do this. I'm sick of people with that excuse. We have to
Mm-hmm.
start policing our own people, and we
Mm-hmm.
gotta stop sweeping stuff under the rug that's happening in the black community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm
Well,
like you. A
I
lot of
want
this stuff happened by design. I feel that all of these people that's on YouTube, they just came on YouTube. They were paid to come in and cause chaos, to get slow people that cannot comprehend, to not see the true facts of the case.
Yep.
Everybody hollering, his friend, like you say, well, them cakes sat there in that Trump building in the apartment. Nobody threw them away.
Well, and let me say something, Darlene, and I feel like this is very important and very vital to say. Okay, the reason why Robert wound up in jail is because divisiveness was a way of life for him. And when you get somebody, you get three people who are working on the behalf of Robert, and each person feel like they got their own inside connection. And depending on who your inside connection is, your information is going to be directly in conflict to what Debo's information might be, or what Phases information might be, or what DJ's information might be, or Dana's information might be. Your information might be in conflict with theirs, because it's different people who all have an affiliation with this man, and they were all told different stories about the same set of events. And so if this person is like this when they are free, that's highly manipulative. But think about how that person, you know what I'm saying? Think about that, right? If if this man was who they say he was, or who some of these super fans who come onto my page say that he is, it's no way in hell that this man could be locked up. It's impossible for this man to be locked up. He is locked up because when you get somebody who come onto the scene like me, and I'm coming on and I'm preaching organization and togetherness, we can't have any organization and togetherness, because while I as an individual may be on the page of togetherness and organization, whoever the person is that's on the inside say, man, Rob don't want that. They go and tell Dana, man, Rob don't want that. Now Dana gonna come into my live, disrupt my live stream, give me a copyright strike, which prevents the information from getting out. Okay? And so when you're talking about the flow of information and creating a movement, all right, one thing that I know for a fact is that in order for a plane to take off, for a plane to fly, you have to have a long strip of flat land so that that plane can get enough traction to build up momentum to lift up off of the ground. But we steady got craters and crooks and potholes and stuff like that in our grass that prevent us from being able to take off. And I'm saying that as somebody who I've been to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and saw where the Lindbergh brothers first took off. First got a plane to fly at out of Dayton, Ohio. But go ahead, Darlene.
And so it's all crazy to me. Like, nobody gets mad at the people that used to work for him, that have testified against him, but you talk about the victim.
Correct.
But you ain't mad at all of these ex-employees. This shit is the craziest shit. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. If I had to do this shit all over again, you would never know my name.
Me neither. Me neither. You know, one of my biggest regrets is walking to the MCC door and saying, "Bring them downstairs." Like I was really
Well,
feeling
you know,
myself.
at that time, with the pandemic hitting and stuff, nobody knew what was going on. We had that right to know the condition of him, because had nobody heard from any of the inmates at the MCC when we were down there yelling at.
But the thing of it is, though, is that I would talk to the supposed to be sisters and stuff every day and shit. And you know, here I am saying, "Hey, bring them downstairs, bring them downstairs." I'm getting a battery put in my back by by Lisa, and when I'm over here, the same thing that Debo went to jail for, and granted, Debo is a little extra, okay? You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to cause no problems when I say that shit, but he's a little over the top, but he means well, I think. But
Yeah, he does. He means well. He really got way over involved, but that's the
right,
way he feels. So
right. Well, that's just his personality, right? But here I am, and this man that went to jail for belief. You know what I'm saying? He believed he risked his own freedom, advocate for the freedom of another man. But the very people who stand to gain the most, these people who testified against him, they will stab you in the back if it means that they think that you're going to get something that they perceive should be for them. These people, these same people,
they're nuts.
they will they will cut your throat in broad daylight. They cut your throat in broad daylight, but when it's time to stand up for something, take a public stance for something, then they play in the background. It's damn near like uh what's the guy's name? The dude Warros on Game of Thrones. He's the man of many whispers, and that's how all of these people who are written in the indictment as handlers, they the guys of whispers. They come to you and they talk all of this shit. They talk about what they can do, who they know. Oh, I was with Rob at the BET Awards when he did da 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 da. They talk all of that shit. But the same people who sit down and talk all of this shit, put all these whispers in that back, when it's time to stand up loud and proud and take a stance or something, these folks, they ain't nowhere to be found. And to me, your absence and your silence speaks volumes. It speaks volumes.
You know,
Because, go ahead.
I go on everybody's channels. I go all around. I don't go to these regular people. I go to other people's channels I don't even know. And me and some people we were talking, and as they say, Jennifer Bojine has never said he was innocent. She talks about his rights being violated. You had Andrew Wyatt. He was on the Real Dana show,
Uh-huh.
and all they talk about is constitutional rights being violated. Nobody says he's innocent of the crime.
Mm-hmm.
They talk
Well,
about the things he shouldn't have did, but nobody says he's innocent. This didn't happen.
and part of it too is the people they can't say they was innocent, that he's innocent because these was the same folks who was right there partaking and engaging in some of these same activities. Come on. I
And
mean,
I start noticing that.
you know,
They'll talk about violation, but they'll never say, no, this didn't happen. No, he did not sleep with the girl, the underage girl.
yeah, yeah. Now, I don't don't know
Andrew
about.
Wyatt was on the Real Dana show, and I listened to that. Really good. And I was in on this other blogger's channel, and I was listening to what they were saying, and I had an awakening moment too. None of the lawyers said that this action didn't happen.
Well, and you can't try to convince somebody of, you know what I'm saying? You can't try to convince somebody of it. You know what I'm saying? You can't convince somebody. You got an uphill battle to try to say it didn't happen at all because he got left kind of holding the bag, you know? And so it's, to me, the whole situation was a travesty. But when I'm saying get out of your own way, you have you have supporters that don't even know this man. Like, one of the things is that, I know for a fact that, I got at least three people in here right now who know this man personally. You being one of them, and the other two, I ain't gonna mention them, but they know who they are. All right.
Right.
So you have people on here. You have people who saw a documentary and they believe that they know this man better than people who have been around him, people who grew up with him. And
Because I never saw this type of behavior. You
well,
know,
you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't see
yeah.
it. And to a certain degree, um, I mean, how responsible are you if your neighbor turns out to be a cannibalizing serial killer? I mean, you're not gonna know that your neighbor is a cannibalizing serial killer until the story comes out. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not trained to look at somebody and suspect the worst. You know what I'm saying? Unless you got reasonable suspicion. But come on, with this whole entire thing, it all stinks. And where I'm saying get out of your own way is a lot of people, they don't want to believe that what has happened has really happened because they have an R. Kelly in their family. And if I choose to accept R. Kelly or Robert Kelly's fate, the musical superstar, then I have to address my uncle who be fucking with little girls. Or I gotta address my brother that be messing with underage girls. Or I gotta address my cousin who likes him too young. I have to address the inappropriate things in my life. And some people don't want to address the inappropriate shit that they have going on in their own worlds. So they will sit up and they will continue fighting something that's already been proven. And then they will come on, they will curse you out for speaking what has now come to pass. Okay?
Yeah, because um, if you truly love somebody, whether they're innocent or guilty, I still love him.
Yep. Yep.
I still love him.
Yep.
You know, I pray
Mm-hmm.
for him and I pray for the victim. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that everybody gets proper healing.
Well, for me, I don't. I think that there were females in this situation who were victimized, but I don't feel like they are victims of the situation because the biggest part of luck is being in the right place at the right time, if that makes sense. And being good really ain't about it's really not about skill per se so much as it is about being in the right place at the right time. I mean, right now we have the free agency going on for the NBA, and one of the things that I've never seen anybody do in the past 10 years is players who are good, none of them ever say, hey, I'm going to go to the worst team in the league and I'm going to go play for the worst team in the league to show my dominance. They all go and look
Right.
to play in the best situation that suits them. And so with these girls, they may have been taken advantage of, but I don't believe that they are victims because they position themselves in the right place. Like these weren't
Well,
people
yeah,
that
I'm gonna always have I'm gonna always say some girls had criminal minds.
mm-hmm,
I look at them as criminals too, because they did everything to get and be with him.
mm-hmm.
And so they had criminal minds too.
And I mean, he didn't go and find these little young hoes at Chuck E. Cheese, or he didn't find these little bitches, man. He didn't find them at no damn. He didn't find them at a kindergarten recital. He found these fast ass hoes in places they weren't supposed to be at. So you know what I'm saying? I'm hesitant to call them victims. Is they
Well,
were they taking
technically,
advantage
I don't neither, but they are considered victims by the law because he has been found guilty. So,
of? Correct, correct, correct.
until that. So, I mean, you got women every day that's in abusive relationships right now in some men. You got women that's never gonna leave because some don't want to go to work. The man been taking care of them. They're not gonna let the other woman win. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the stuff is still going on. See, me, I've been around stars my entire life. Movie stars don't make me. I ain't never wanted nobody that the whole world wanted. I was taught at an early age that all of the famous people I know, they're human beings. They're a flesh. They're like people like me and you. They just got more money.
Mm-hmm.
And so they can do what they want to do when they want to do it.
Well, I don't know about more money, Darlene, because some of these motherfuckers is broke. Yeah, and that's
Well, they get a line of credit.
yeah.
Yeah,
They
they get a line of credit.
mm-hmm.
But the whole thing with the government talking about they care about black girls, I'll never believe that because it wouldn't have took this long uh, for him to have terrorized the whole city of Chicago with the Daley family, uh, Richard Daley. He was the mayor. Well, Richard Daley Jr.
Well, yeah, you
He
got
was
Richard.
the mayor at the time, and they hated blacks. It was a time in Chicago you couldn't even go to Bridgeport, but there again, they didn't care about the black community.
You talking about the Irish? The Bridgeport is the
Right,
Irish neighborhood and
Right,
on the south
right.
side of
Blacks
Chicago.
couldn't even go over there.
So
And
uh, I did a documentary called One Man Ain't No Enterprise, where I went in and I basically I broke that all the way down about the democratic machine that has ran the state of Illinois for the last 70 years. Okay,
oh, Chicago, the state of Illinois is a crooked city.
right. But when you say Chicago is the state of Illinois. No
Right.
other city
I
in
said
the state of
Chicago
Illinois.
is a crooked city and the state of Illinois. Every past governor we've had has went to prison.
Yep, yep.
And then there another thing I didn't agree with was mute his music. How can you mute his music? This country was built on a lie. And if you took the art away, if you can't separate the art from the artist, we wouldn't have any art. That's
But
hypocritical too. So I had my own reasons. It wasn't the person that I know. But
but
again, he has been found guilty. I have to accept it. I don't like it. If he wins an appeal, that'll be great. But I'm not going to stress myself out.
but
But I've looked at the most craziest, mad shit. The Where I think I'm in the twilight zone, looking at supporters want to kill each other
but
because everybody wanted to be a face instead of working together. The
okay.
movement could have grown even if we attacked it with constitutional rights and everything. And like, this is the most weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life. You got people down there trying to, I mean, they had to stop the court. You had one blogger calling in another blogger in New York trying to describe a juror. They want to say it didn't happen. And it's like, oh, girl, we remember. I mean, everything that has had to do with this case, to me, I feel it's been evil and demonic spirit.
But okay, Darlene, I gotta go back to something that you said. You said that how can you separate the artist from the art? And when you study, I had a teacher named Dr. Laila Africa. Some people may know who he is, some people may not. But he said if you study the white man, you only got to study him one time. He never changed up his playbook. So when you if we take this all the way back to the beginnings of Western civilization. Western civilization started in Egypt, and then it went
Okay, I'm
out.
here listening.
Yeah, it went out to the rest of the world. And what I mean by that
Okay.
is, you had civilization as we know it today started in Egypt, but Egypt is the child of Nubia. And so to say, so Western civilization really starts in Nubia up the Nile River or down the Nile River, depending on how you want to talk about it, with these blue black people. These blue black people gave civilization to the world, sent it down the Nile River out into the Mediterranean Sea. That's where you get Greek culture and all the rest of this. Now, I ain't going to go get too deep off into history, but you see all of the artistry of these blue black people of Nubia and their children, the Egyptians, and Alexander the Great came in and pillaged it and took it as his own. Napoleon Bonaparte came in and pillaged it. and took it for his own. You seen Arabs, they came in, pillaged it, and took it as their own, or what have you. They took the gold, they took all of that to separate the artist from the art. And then even when we get into Greek culture, you hear about Socrates, you hear about Plato, Aristotle, and other Greek historians. But all of this knowledge was stolen from Nubia and from Africa. And so even when you go on, you start getting to the Bible days. You had Martin Luther, who transcribed biblical scriptures that he found off the Chewbacca stone and the Rosetta stones, and he was transcribing these things, and he created the Gutenberg press, of which King James came in and transcribed his own version of the Bible. And so when you begin to study the white man, you see a separation from the artist, in the art is the very vessel or the vehicle that they use to propagate culture, right? This is the vehicle that they use to change the narrative of culture. And so even when we go to our textbooks and stuff like that today, they are trying to teach the children that slavery never happened. It was servitude. Like, it was a choice. Okay? It was a choice. And they are basically, they are downplaying the ability that the people had to make a choice. Okay? Ultimately, in all of these situations, the person had a choice. Okay? Just like a lot of black people got upset with Kanye West when he said slavery was a choice, but he was speaking wolf language to sheep, because slavery was a choice. It's just that the choices that you had to choose from were fucked up. It was, hey, you either gonna be my slave, or I'm gonna cut your genitals off and chop off your feet. Well, shit, I'm gonna pick this cotton, because those are some hellified choices. Just like with these victims, okay, they didn't have to fuck this man. They didn't have to take a chance of getting herpes, but they was just gonna be broke, nappy head bitches with terrible weed, living in a little downtrodden ass existence. And those are some hellified options. Go with this perverted man, smear shit on yourself, okay, or stay over here and live this meager ass existence, where I'm inch and a half away from the poverty line. Okay, I can give up a little ass I was gonna give up anyway, and then my mama and my sisters like that, we could be cool. I can send them money so they can get bags, and that is the narrative that has penetrated all the way from age old millennia to the days 4,000 years ago during the Egyptian dynasties, all the way up until today. This thought process has penetrated the culture. So we are seeing that we're not looking at anything new. We're looking at more of the same, and essentially what the government is holding this man.
Exactly. History repeating itself.
There you go. And basically what
Yeah.
this man is guilty of is, hey, you took these broke hoes and you gave them some fucked up options. You know, hey, you should not have made them choose between being your hoe and or being broke. Because of course they gonna want of course they gonna choose to be your hoe rather than be broke. But at the same time, um, again, you have people to where we live 5 and 6 generations deep in the ghetto, and it's either stay over here in the ghetto where you don't have all of the resources, or go and live in the white neighborhood where you get constantly harassed because you, as a black person, ain't supposed to be able to make enough money to live over here
Oh,
among
right. I don't
white
even
folks.
want to get started on that because we got people here in Joliet that think the newest thing is living in Plainfield, Illinois, where they don't even want blacks living out there. And y'all paying an arm and a leg for taxes just to say you living in Plainfield, Illinois. But women, we want to be taken care of and we want to be loved.
Mm,
But I think more so, we want to be taken care of. We want that life.
who don't?
Right. Who don't? Now,
Who,
some some, women been entrapping men since the beginning of time. You know, they've been getting pregnant by men that wasn't their kid. Not saying all women, but we're just looking at some of the narratives. Uh, the young man, older woman thing been going on since the back of the time, beginning of time. We done had some women that found out what that man's favorite food was, what that wife might have not been cooking, or that wife might have not been giving him head, but that other woman decided to give him head, and he left his wife and went with that woman. So, all kind of tactics women done use to get men. This shit didn't just start with R. Kelly. Uh, would have been nice if some of them, because if they settled for lawsuits, like in the 90s, for 250,000, even if you had a check that was falling apart, I don't even think any of them bought a house.
mm, well, Lanita Carter bought a house, and then that motherfucker got foreclosed on less than 2 years later. Yes, less than a year later. So this is the thing of it is that
$250,000 back in the 90s would have got you a nice house, bought and paid for. Why would you get a mortgage? If I would have had to use all of my money, the majority of my money, with that type of come up, my house would have been paid for, and I would have just had to worry about that.
but Darlene, you are you you thinking like one of the victims now, Darlene. And I don't mean no offense when I say that, but if they got awarded 250,000, they didn't get 250,000 because your lawyer gets one
I know
third
they
of
get
that
a
amount
third.
alone,
They get 33 and
and
a third. I know
taxes is gonna take another 10 to 15%. And so, that's half of your money right there. So now all you got is 125,000,
that.
and you don't
But
have.
still, back in the 90s,
But
90s, that
but
that was enough money to get a house and pay for it.
but even Martin Luther King said, "My people will perish for lack of understanding." And so our people don't have a financial education where we know how to wealth plan and how to strategize. And so all of these people were like, one of the hot topics right now is reparations. But if we got reparations, most of our people wouldn't know what to do with it because we are still we have never detoxed from slavery. Most of us still think like slaves. That we slaves to consumerism. We slaves to we slaves to uh, we slaves to things. We still got a poverty consciousness and a poverty mindset. You know, and so until you get past that, anything else that may happen is not going to be of any benefit to you because you still have to get past this poverty consciousness that you own, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Um, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Trent
Mm-hmm.
will never get reparations. I don't even know why they even think that. That means America will have to say, we built this country, we were slaves, we were smart. That's never gonna happen.
It will happen, but
When?
it's already happened. I mean, Donald Trump acknowledged that black people built this nation. It's just that secondary piece of what else is supposed to go into effect. And so you have people talking about who the foundational Black Americans are, and who were the actual descendants of slaves that built this country, because even now you have black foreigners who come over and turn their nose up at foundational Black Americans who are descendants of slaves who built this nation. And so until we can get to who actually built this country and how they should be compensated, then we have to talk about what proper steps do we need in order to close the wealth gap. Because when we look at the overturning of Roe versus Wade, you know what I'm saying, something that's basically been in practice since 1953, then we're talking about white folks are dying off, and this is like basically a last ditch effort to prevent white folks from aborting white babies so that you can still have white supremacy. So white supremacy is hanging on by a thread, and they are enacting legislation in order for white supremacy to prevail. But when you're talking about reparations, first we need to get to who is actually owed reparations, and why is it that as a black person in America, we have not been taught capitalism. Most black people, most black people in America were born into capitalism, but they don't understand what it means to be a capitalist. And one of the biggest things that interfere with capitalism is Jesus, the church. You know, my mother is a devout Christian. She works for me at my business, and sometimes she messes a bunch of stuff up because she is into this is the Christian thing to do, this is the godly thing to do. In business, that shit don't work. My job is to capitalize. I have to capitalize off of this person, off of this situation, whatever it is. If you call me, you just had a wreck, your car is messed up, I'm going to say, oh, I'm sorry, but I got to sell you a car. I have to capitalize off of your misfortune. That's the way that the world works. A doctor capitalizes off of your sickness. A dentist capitalizes off of your mouth being messed up in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So every person in the society is capitalizing off of the situation. And you know what makes a lot of the R. Kelly supporters so frustrated with the girls is that they understand capitalism in its rarest form, and they're capitalizing off of the situations. And that's why they went and took their money, got new titties, got new ass, or what have you, because most men are not disciplined enough to not go after what looks good for them, but to choose what is good for them. Therefore, they set themselves up to continue capitalizing. But go ahead, I'm giving you back the floor, Darlene.
I see Demetrius Falling. You said they were young and not thinking like that. Demetrius, I come from a family. We were taught when you get your first job, you go buy a home. I
You
was
say
the
what?
only cousin that didn't own a house. I never wanted a house.
Uh-huh.
So I think a lot of it too has to do with how you are raised and what you are taught uh, as well.
I agree. A lot of things are learned behavior. I would agree with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I come from a mom and a dad, but I also had a single aunt that taught me game.
uh-huh.
You know,
But
ain't
okay.
nobody keeping it real in the black family. The things that we should be teaching the kids, we're not teaching them. We're telling them to save their money. Well,
But
are you telling them what to invest in when you teach them to save? When you tell them to go to college, do you tell them to go to college to get the right type of education that's going to keep them marketable for a lifetime?
but okay, Darlene, you old enough to be my mom. And something that old school parents used to say that these younger parents, I don't hear them saying, is that it takes a village to raise a child,
It does.
right? And you have a bunch of you right now, men and women both are beyond reproach because the number one word that I always hear when it comes to dealing with black people is hating. Hating. If somebody tells a black person the truth, if they brutally honest with a
You hate
black person, they are hating. You know,
damn it.
it's no space for it's no space for constructive criticism, you know, or nothing more. And it takes the village to raise the child. You can't just raise the child with one or two people. It takes mom and dad setting the principles at home. But then when you go out into the neighborhood, the neighbors have to reinforce the principles. The school teachers have to reinforce the principles. Grandma and grandpa have to correct the parents while still reinforcing the principles to raise a balanced child. But it's no more community. As the late great Dick Gregory would say, Dick Gregory said, he said that we don't have neighborhoods anymore. We just got we because it ain't no neighbor. It's nothing neighborly about it. You know, we don't have a community because there's no community. You got neighborhoods, and there's nothing neighborly about them. So you just take the neighbor off of it, and now you left with the hood. And black folks, we all come up in the hood, and they talk about, I'm gonna die for my hood. I'm gonna die for these streets. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. And so, you know, you at this point, you have to raise children that dare to live. You know, but again, how many how when we when we are being raised, when we are raising children without the community, our children have fell off. We get these foreigners who come over here. These Candace, damn, what's the girl? She is always on Fox News. But you get those folks who come over here, and when they come over here, they study the math, they study the art, they study the entertainment, they study they study movies, they study war, they study everything. And then once they study these things, then they go on and get advanced level degrees in chemistry. They get advanced level degrees in marketing, in business, in finance, in medicine, in engineering. They get these advanced level degrees. Why are they able to get these advanced level degrees? Because they have community or village reinforcement. Okay? They got a village to reinforce. Real talk. Real talk. They got a village to reinforce. Is it any other questions out there tonight? Darlene dropped off, but is there any other questions out there? Once my grandchildren started elementary, they were being taught economics. Then they're in college, they on their own business. Right on, Phoenix Tribe. Right on. Well, I want to thank y'all for tuning into my show. As always, uh, I got something. I got something. I got something special coming up for y'all. I'm gonna bring back the Parental Advisory Podcast, y'all. I'm bringing back Parental Advisory Podcast. So those of y'all who are tuned in, y'all stay tuned in, man. I'm bringing back Parental Advisory Podcast, y'all, and we gonna do this shit live, for sure. Um, Definitely, I'm gonna go ahead and log on off, but stay tuned, man. We gonna have a podcast coming. Peace.